Hey everybody, and welcome back. I am so glad to be back on YouTube. We are setting up our January monthly budget so that way we can go ahead and get prepared for the year. It is already into the month of January, so I'm trying to get this recorded and posted for y'all so y'all can make sure your budgets are set up and ready to go. So this is our January kits that we are using. I did do a few changes for some of my kits for this year. So for the monthly header, we did add date dots down here that you can use, and I've changed the font for the monthly here. I've also switched to where thick and thin washies are on one sheet, and I've only gotten one or two choices. And then on our date headers here, they are a little bit different, so that way kind of change it up a bit. But I'm super excited. And also for the debt, the only one that you can now purchase will be Debt Tracker. I took away the other two because I didn't sell any of those all year last year, so Debt Tracker is where we went. I did add APR into there so that way you can keep track of your APR if you did purchase one of the other kits, and I just slipped my mind on which ones. But that is also there so you can use it. Let's see, what else did we change? I kind of did a little adjusting on the spacing between these, so hopefully there's a little more space, and the rest of them, just mainly the headers, are what changed. So we are going to go ahead and get started setting up for January so that way we can get planning and make sure everything's good to go this year. My goal is definitely to stay on track with budgeting and really focus on bringing in some extra income to pay some more debt off, as well as building our savings. Like, we really need to get our savings built back up. Like, it's a priority now. So this is the Erin Condren 7x9 monthly planner that I got for this year. So we're going to use my kit here and get our monthly view set up first. So in here is where I go through and I will track all of my expenses from our cash envelopes, and then I will put in all of the bills when they've cleared our account and have been taken care of. Currently, we only have one bill that we pay in cash. Everything else we have in our account. We are also still 1 month ahead on bills and expenses, so everything that we budget is for the next month going forward. So we've already prepared for it, but I have sat down and made a list of different things that are coming up through the month of January and February, because last year I did notice that there were things that kept popping up that I was definitely unprepared for. And I went through our calendar, went through all of the little Facebook invites and everything to see what events, what things will happen throughout the month, so we are more prepared. And I have made a list so that way when I do our budget, I can put in all of money towards the bills and then focus on the things that are coming up to get those taken care of. And if we do any extra money, throw them straight towards events that are coming up, and then whatever's left will go to savings. So it's kind of a mind process on all of that. I am slacking last year. It was a rough year. I know a lot of people have probably said this, but it was definitely a rough year. And I'm hoping that this year is going to be better. Ate lots of greens and collards and black eyes on New Year's. So that way, hopefully, it can bring me some good luck and money for the year. So, alright. So there is our monthly setup. It is already the 6th. So it's already here. So we've already paid rent on the 1st. And surprisingly, that is the only bill that has cleared so far, so I'm not sure why the rest of them haven't quite come out yet. But I do want to do a weekly check-in, so that way I'm staying on point. I want to get back to posting 3 videos a week. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it'll be a cash envelope stuffing video, a weekly plan with me, and maybe some kind of other video. I didn't record the grocery haul when I picked it up for January, but I might start doing grocery haul videos again and making that the 3rd video of the week or something else, but we'll see. Might just do 2 days for now until I figure out what third video I want to start posting. So stay tuned. We will get them up. All right. So they've switched up the planner. So this is now the goal sheet that usually was on here. So on this side, we are going to set up our debt. So we're going to kind of keep it in the same form that we had it in our old planner, just because I like how it works. So we are going to do that. Let's see. So we're going to do our debt tracker here. And I did do a yearly budget setup, so if you want to check out that video, it should be the most previous video posted. Alright, so we're going to use blue. So going through, I think it was middle school or going into high school, I had a blue and brown phase in my life where that was all that I would wear. So when I did this kit and it came out with blue and brown in it, I had a flashback. It was kind of funny, but I just love blue and brown together. It's so pretty. All right, so I have these debts listed in the order that we are trying to achieve paying them off. So first up will be student loans. And this will be number 2. So I have 4 total student loans. We're going to work on paying off number 2 first. And then we have the Camaro, which is definitely going to be a longer to pay off, but it's very necessary. Then we have student loan number 4, student loan number 3, and then student loan number 1. So once those are all paid off, we'll have 2 things left, which will be the Highlander and then some medical bills. All right, so the student loan number 2's beginning amount starting for this year is $1,914, $14.28. And its APR, which is why we want to pay this one off first, is a 6.80. Next up, we have the Camaro at $11,440 and 71 cents, and its interest rate is at 10.87. So that's why it's second. So, because we need to eliminate some debt off of James. And the Camaro is on him and the Highlander is on him. So those are the only 2 debts on his credit, really. The rest of them are mine. The student loans are all on mine, not his. But we need to get something off of his credit so that way our debt to income ratio changes to having more income versus debt. So, which is why it's second, and it's a high APR. Then student loan number 4 is $1,087.43 with an APR of 3.86. Student loan number 3 is $3,388.32 with an APR of 3.86. Last student loan is at $3,357.53 with an interest rate of 3.4. Then the Highlander has the highest at $20,298.05, interest rate of a 5.24. And then medical, we have $13,315 with no APR. So those are our debts that we're going to be tackling still. So hopefully we'll get rid of student loan number 2. It's a goal for this year. I want to get it gone completely. And then to get a huge dent into the Camaro and possibly pay off maybe student loan number 4. So then we'll only have the Camaro, student loan number 3, student loan number 1, and the Highlander really left to pay on. So that's my goal set. But I would definitely love to see us pay off student loan number 2 and then have the Camaro have a huge dent in it. That would be so awesome to have. Maybe get it down to at least like 8,000, 7,000 for the year. I think that'll be a good goal for an extra amount hitting it and stuff. So all right, lay this down here. All right, let's look at it. It's gorgeous. So we are ready to go for our debt. So main goal, pay off student loan number 2. All of our focus is going to be on that one, and then tackling any extra towards the Camaro and getting it lower to get it down to 6,000 by the end of the year. That is a goal. We're going to do our paycheck breakdown and our cash envelope our budget on these 2 sheets here. And we are going to alternate. It's okay. We'll just do it this way. I really like the blue washi over the brown one. So, right, there's that side. And then this one. All right, so we're gonna do our budget side first on here. Let's get this strip laid down. Awesome. All right, flip to January budget. Oops. Sorry, didn't mean to hit that. All right, so for sources of income, I said in our yearly budget that we're only going to have 2 sources of income and then other. So everything else will fall into other. So we have James, myself, and then other. All right, so for James's income for this month, we had all month of December, we were sick, didn't really focus on our budget. It was a bad month. So I'm kind of like really under budgeting a little bit because of everything that happened last month. We don't want to repeat, so we're just going to focus as much as we can. But I estimate his income at $2,900. And then for me, I only put $400 because with being out of the school for 2 weeks on vacation for the holiday, we don't get paid for that. We don't get any kind of pay for it or anything, so I under budgeted for that, not knowing how much I would actually receive for the month of January. So I just wanted to be realistic as much as possible. And then other, so I put 0. So we're going to work with that because we've already set it up for that way. So we're looking at $3,330 for the month of January to fund up February's expenses and bills. So we're going to do January. We have our fixed and variables here. All right, so every month, these are the same amounts every single time. So we have the cars. We pay $920. When we start paying more on the Camaro, I will separate out the vehicles. That way we'll just have the Highlander and its set amount that we pay each month, and then a variable side will have the Camaro with how much it's supposed to get paid and then how much we actually pay when we do the extra towards it. So, but for now we're keeping them on the fixed side. Then for rent, it is a fixed amount. It is $700. Then power is a variable expense. We budgeted $300. Water is also a variable. It fluctuates depending on the usage. We budgeted $200. All right, and then Allstate is set amount for 6 months, so we're putting it on the fixed side because it doesn't change after that one-time renewal each year. So Allstate is $374. Cell phone, we haven't had to change it, and I don't think for this month we shouldn't have any fluctuations with the cell phone. At 166, sorry. And then for internet is a fixed amount, and it is $66. Student loans, I'm gonna put on the fixed side this month, but in March they should be getting me a new amount. With the current updates and all that on how much my loan amount will be. So I'm going to try to put $100 still until they give me the exact amount for going forward, which it could be more, don't know yet. And if it is, I'm just going to have to work my butt off even harder. So then we have pest control. At $33. All right, so that is all of our fixed sides, but this is all of the bills, and they've already been pretty much covered from the income from January. There were a little bit short on a few things, groceries, gas, whatnot, that I had to go out and do a lot of extra deliveries in the end of last month after I finally felt better from getting over that awful flu, headache, and all that kind of mess. It was awful. All right, so our next variable expense that we have is groceries. And we have we budgeted $700 for this month. And then gas, we had $400 put in there for gas. Spending, well, miscellaneous, we didn't have anything in miscellaneous, so 0 for that. And then spending, we didn't have anything as well, so that's also 0. All right, and then we have sinking funds, which has nothing, debt, and the cushion. And the cushion is a buffer in our checking account to cover anything that we may have to use our card for. And then we put the money back in there our next trip to the bank. We do a weekly to the bank. At the beginning of the month, I will deposit our bill money back in and then pull out what we need each week from the checks and divide it out in our cash envelopes. So there is our fixed side. And then the budget side. All right, let's lay down our strip here. Snap. Okay. All right, so now flipping over to do the paycheck breakdown. Let's see. So this one here, I normally have a like mock-up sheet so I kind of know where we're putting stuff at. But we are going to be doing this on the fly with me. So hopefully we don't miss anything. But this is about to be very fun. So income, we have James. And then myself and other. So we estimated $2,900 for James's income, $400 for my income, and nothing for other. All right. So make sure we're in the right spot. Oops, went down. All right, there we are. So total income for our bills for February is $3,300. But we are gonna play it month by month, week by week, day by day. All right, expenses. We're just gonna take all of our expenses, list them straight down. I think I'm gonna put all of our bills first and highest to lowest amount as best as possible, and then do all of our cash envelopes at the bottom. That way maybe make it a little bit smoother going through. So the first expense are the vehicles, so cars at $920, rent at $700, and then Allstate at $374, power at $300, water at $200. Hopefully I can pull that back down. I'm trying to make sure everyone's on track of not using water during the peak hours of the day. So not washing clothes when it's higher, washing them on the weekends or overnight, and switch them into the dryer, all that kind of good stuff there. Then next up we have cell phones at $166. Then we have student loans at $100, internet at $66, and then pest control at $33. So those are all of our bills and expenses. So if we take our budget amount here and subtract all of our bills, let's see what we have left. 33 here. Okay, so minus 920, minus 700, minus 374, minus 300, minus 200, minus 166, minus 100, minus 66, minus 33. Okay, something didn't change when I did that. Okay. All right, so next up are our groceries, gas, miscellaneous spending, all those categories that we're going to write in. So groceries, gas, miscellaneous, spending, sinking funds, debt, and then the cushion. Okay. All right, so we only have $441 remaining after all of the bills are covered. So we're gonna take $241 and we're gonna put that in groceries, and we're gonna put $200 into gas. So, because that is all we have left over for the month currently. So I do know we will be able to put more towards those going forward, but we also have a few things that we want to set money aside for as well. So we're going to fluctuate, work with what we got going on. But I do want to add up all these numbers here and make sure it does equal this $3,300, because that is the minimum amount that we are expecting it so far. So 920 plus 700 plus 374 plus 300 plus 200 plus 166 plus 100 plus 66 plus 33 plus 241 plus 200. So 3,300. We got it just right. So we're gonna lay down our total strip now. So there's that. And we're gonna lay this down here, kind of close it out. I don't know why. My stickers will cut through except for one spot on like most of my sheets, and it drives me insane. I don't understand why that one little spot, it never wants to cut all the way through. All right, so our total amount ended up being $3,300 and $300. So that is what our paycheck breakdown is going to look like. We do have some extra things that we want to make sure are ready for February, but that is where we're at. Now, next sheet we're going to set up will be our sinking funds, no sinking funds, our weekly check-in, and then sinking funds. So, on this side here, we're going to set up a transaction log. That way, once we use our categories from our gas and groceries, we can track it here and see a running trend of how our money is being spent, where it's all kind of going, an idea. Trends is what we're looking for. All right, so perfect. Go. And then this other side, we're set up our weekly check-in. And I'm only going to set up the first week and see. Because some months I'm hoping to get back doing once a week, but you never really know. So we're just going to set up the first week and hope and pray that this month goes very well and I can get all 4, maybe 3 paychecks or weekly check-ins done, depending on how the month looks. All right, and we'll fill in the categories and all that stuff there. Then flipping over, so this sticker here we're going to stick in the back so I have easy access to it right there. All right, lastly, our sinking funds. And I did say, if you watch the 2024 kind of setup for the budget, that for sinking funds I'm going to do them a little differently. I'm only going to be listing the categories out that have money currently in them, which right now none of them do. They are all at 0. They're starting over. It's going to be a fun year. We're going to fill them all up, put some money into them. But I'm only going to put ones that have money in them, or the ones that we need to set money into for the current month or the next month. So we are going to have a transaction log, so if we do spend the money, we are able to track what we spent it on, which I might be able to convert this into one sheet each month. We'll see how this month goes and next month, and then go from there. Actually, we're going to keep it like this. Make it a little easier to write on. Alright, so we have all of the kids that will need money put into them to fund their February activities. So we have Alexis, and I'm not going to list these in alphabetical order. I'm just going to list them by a grouping right here. Baba, Phoenix, Steven. Okay, and then we have car taxes due in February, so we want to start making sure we put money in for car taxes, which the ones that are due in February are the cheapest ones that we have. So they're like $50 to $100 range. They're very cheap compared to the other ones, so we won't need much to put in there to have what we need for that one. And then we have gifts. So from in January into February, we have a baby shower, we have 3 birthdays, and we have Valentine's Day. So we want to get some money set aside into there. I think about $100 ish, a little over $100 to cover all of that stuff will be perfect. And then we do have holiday. So Valentine's will be coming up, so that we need to put a little bit in there so the kids can go pick out Valentine's to do for their school. There's been a few years that we've actually just created their own Valentine's at home. We did them by hand. It was so much fun. The kids enjoyed it. We might go ahead and start doing that, a little craft project once a week or something, so we can kind of get a few done at a time and not make it feel so stressful when it's time for them to pass them out, because that was a definite hard time last year doing them all last minute. And then we have myself, so I need to put some money aside to get my hair done for my appointment that is coming up. And then Alexis has her field trip that we have to pay for, so that'll come out of hers. No, we'll take it from school. We'll put money into school to cover her field trip from. Okay, so those are the things that we know we need to have money into for. So all right, and starting out, nothing is in any of these. We are wiped out. We kind of did a whole reset and took all the money out and used to finish Christmas, and it was a bad month for December. So we're starting at 0. Okay, we'll just lay this down here. And I actually literally have a list of like February and January events that I set down and had to kind of give a fine-tooth comb through, so that way I could kind of estimate how much I want to spend for each item. So for birthdays and stuff, like it's an average about $25 to $50 depending on what it's for. Alexis's trip is $25. That's how much we have. Each pay is like broken up for a bigger amount, broken it down. For Connor, and I know exactly how much we need for the kids' activities. Alexis needs 100 in hers. Bubba needs 85. The twins need 80. So those are just given amounts that I know that they need in their sinking fund to cover those. So, whew, lots to do this month. But we will slowly add money into those. We definitely have to add money into Alexis, Bubba, Steven, and Phoenix, because they come out monthly, because they do attend a activity, so it comes out automatically at the beginning of the month. So those will be the first ones that we want to make sure we have the money set aside for, and then we will work on the other ones. So some come sooner than the others, but I'll sit down and figure out which one needs to get next and go from there. But this is our January budget setup. We have our monthly view of ready to go, looking gorgeous. Our debt tracker is ready to go with our goal of paying off our student loan number 2 this year and getting our Camaro under $7,000. We have it wrote down. It's going to be a goal. Oh, I could have wrote it here too. But it's going to be a yearly goal. So by the end of the year, we want to see that goal. Let's see. Next up, we have our paycheck breakdown ready to go, which we've actually already gotten our first paycheck. So I also need to do a paycheck breakdown and cash and little stuffing video. So excited to do the first one for the new year. Super excited. It's not a lot, so we'll see how it works out. And then we got our paycheck budget set up. Gorgeous. Looks beautiful. And then our weekly check-in and our sinking funds. It's so sad to see them all the numbers at 0, but it's kind of refreshing to start completely over, because it's a little overwhelming having the whole list on here when I didn't need all of that stuff for those current months. So unless it has funds in it that at the beginning of each month, it's not going to be listed, except for the kids' things, just because up until I think April or May is when they're done with their activities, and they'll have the summer off, and then they'll start back up. So I'm hoping over the summer we can add some extra to kind of cover it going forward and kind of keep it revolving more so. But I really hope that y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all had a fantastic New Year and Merry Christmas. But we are back on track, and I can't wait to catch you on my next video. Bye now.